If someone was to begin using tarot, like, what would your advice to them?
Okay, so the first thing I would say, one, there's 78 cards of universal human experiences, like I mentioned. They're pieces of paper. And I like to say this because sometimes we show up to these spiritual tools and we hold them in such reverence. We think that they're going to dictate our lives. We think that if we're going to pull the devil card or the death card, something bad is going to happen to us. And these are just, again, morals. They're just stories that are here to show you and reflect back to you yourself. And so if you're pulling the death card, it says, hey, what do you need to let go of right now? What do you need to release right now? If you're pulling the devil card, it's saying, like, hey, where might you be in avoidance patterns? Where might you be going into addictive behaviors that aren't really serving you? These cards are not here to dictate your future. They're here to help you get to know yourself. And so if you can approach them in that way, I think you're going to let yourself have a lot less anxiety around your tarot practice and you're going to be able to get a lot more out of it. When I first started, I'd pull and I'd be like, oh my God, like my life is going to fall apart and nothing would happen. And I would then turn away from the tarot for weeks because it would scare me. I don't want to see new tarot readers do that or tarot enthusiasts like fall into that same trap because it's a really beautiful. I just can't describe how much this can impact your life if you approach it in a way like, how can I get to know myself better? What is it the lesson I need to know right now? How can I see this situation with a little bit more clarity or in a different perspective? And you're going to then really open up to the magic of the tarot.
I love that. There's a couple things that I see with tarot. One, people are just so overwhelmed by it that they give all their power to readers.
Mhm.
And I am a lover of reading, so I'm not discounting that at all. Like, I use them,
Mhm.
but it's also knowing that, like, you have free will and that if it doesn't resonate, that's okay too.
Mhm. Mhm.
And sometimes you might not be in alignment with that reader at that moment. It doesn't mean they're not gifted. I know sometimes I have a lot of guides protecting me, and I know sometimes that is what's blocking other readers from being able to read me and being okay with that. And that we all can have this connected intuition with these cards because they are such a powerful thing. And that I encourage people to find a reader that they like, also use it for their own benefit.
Mhm.
Like, I pull cards every day, and the tarot does a little bit overwhelm me
Mhm.
sometimes. So, what I do, and this might resonate for readers, it may not, is I use a few different decks. I use oracle
I
decks
love Oracle
to get
decks.
the main energy that I am maybe going through, and then I ask spirit to clarify how I can whatever I'm asking for, get through this block or, help propel myself forward, and then that's where I use the tarot to kind of help me through that. Another thing that I've done with my tarot is there are decks that have the energy right on them. I used to have books that would help decipher that, and then I'd be going back and reading, and so it's helped me learn so much about the tarot having the energies right on it. But it's like everything, those spiritual tools, dabbling in it, seeing what resonates with you, having it there for you when you need it, and it's been such a beautiful reflection of my life, of what I need to hear, and it's probably why I love TikTok is because I love to see the readings that come through and how much in alignment
Mhm.
they are. Again, having the discernment of not everybody on there maybe has the best of intentions either. Like,
Mhm.
they may just be trying to get as many views as they can,
Oh,
not
yeah.
actually getting out the message. So, like, what has been your lessons of readings on TikTok?
We met over me doing a live doing a reading. That was the second time I've never done it since then. I don't love them. So I did it because I was like, I was feeling like goofy silly and just wanting to get on there. I teach the tarot on TikTok. And so if you go to my page, I might say like, hey, in a lot of readings lately with clients, I'm seeing a theme, but I'm never going to say this reading is for you if this landed on your For You page, blah, blah, blah. And like those can be fun. Don't get me wrong. But I also know that they can cause people a lot of anxiety. And there's so many people out there doing that. So I like being more of the lighthouse or an island that is like, if you want to learn tarot for yourself, come see me. I'm going to help you sharpen your intuition using the tarot because it's a great tool for sharpening your own intuition so that you can then rely on yourself to pull these cards. I once did a full moon spread where I said like, everyone's on TikTok right now saying what this full moon means. One person told me I'm going to get abundance. One person told me it's going to be the hardest full moon of my life. And another person said that it's just going to be chill. And I was like, that's fine. Like everyone's entitled to share their like ideas on TikTok and what they see in astrology because it is very self-interpreted or you can interpret it for yourself. But I'm like, what about for you? Instead of like listening to these other people and then being like, well, which one is it going to be? How about you pull tarot for yourself? And I created this little spread for people to do that. So when I've, I did the 2 readings, and honestly, like the one that we met on, like people were getting in fights in the comments. I was like, this is just a gnarly little space. Like, I don't need to deal with this. Like, I don't want this energy. And like, I just have so much hesitancy with ever being anyone's guru or making them feel like I am the word of law and like the spiritual law, that I want people to know that they always have discernment. They always have space to take what they need from it on their own. I think there's a little bit of a power trip that can happen with the tarot readers on TikTok. So I'd rather be a tarot teacher on there. If you do want to read it, if you do feel called to me, I do offer them. But then there's an energetic exchange. You pay for it. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk it through. We're going to have the space that it's really going to be actually for you. I'm going to call in your guides. And it's actually funny you bring up. Sometimes I have guides that are like, you're not reading her. And I'm like, please, guides. And I'm like, can you tell your guides to let me read for you? And then they're like, okay.
Well, thank you for saying that because that is my biggest pet peeve in the spirituality space is I personally believe anyone in spirituality should be giving people the tools for them to heighten their intuition so that they can make their decisions, that they can empower themselves. If they need to rely on me for answers, I'm not doing my job.
Mhm,
They're not doing their job if they're always coming back and relying them.
mhm,
So I love that that is why you're using TikTok. Like you're empowering people to do that. I love to pull my own cards. I love to pull cards for other people, but I also like to be read myself. And
mhm,
sometimes, as being someone intuitive, I can have all this intuition for someone else. And sometimes my own shadows are in the way that I can't see what
oh,
I'm not
100%.
what's blocking me. And so we do sometimes need someone to help shine a light
Mhm.
on those areas.
Absolutely. And I don't want people to think after that little monologue I had that you should feel shame if you ever seek out spiritual advisors. I have spiritual advisors. I go and get readings all the time. I come from a place where when I'm out of balance, I'm like, oh, I'm seeking it out all the time. I'm looking on TikTok for it. I'm looking for people to tell me everything about myself. And that's almost a little bit of a red flag for myself. That's like, oh, Abigail, out of balance. Maybe you need to pull back and pull the tarot for yourself now because you're looking at everyone else to tell you how you should be living when you need to work within. But then there are times where I'm truly just like, I feel it's under the surface and I need someone else to just wipe away the dust for me, wipe away the fog for me and bring that clarity forward because I can't seem to get it. I need almost the validation more so than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, that's a great point because I've found a lot of the times what's been blocking me on my own journey is that external looking for the answers outside of myself. When we were talking about the spiritual toolkits, a lot of the times before I look for that external validation, I have to go in my spiritual toolkit. Do I pull cards? Do I journal? What am I going to do
Mhm.
first? Make sure I don't have the answers or that I'm like searching too much that like there are people to call on. So it's building that intuition with yourself, it's having that discernment and these toolkits like they're meant to help you support yourself and
Mhm.
whatever that looks like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Welcome to Float Activity, the channel that guides you on a transformative journey towards spiritual wisdom, self development, and healing practices, all aimed at elevating your intuition and aligning you with your soul's purpose. I'm your host, Kara Dempsey, and I'm thrilled to have you joining me as we learn together. Please subscribe and share this with a friend to help grow my channel. I appreciate you, and we'll chat soon.